Good afternoon on what is a bright, breezy day. It's been heavily raining, but I'm out here in the reading nook in between the rain showers with a cat on my lap and, of course, a nice hot cup of tea. It is October the 31st, Sunday, and what I have to show you is Soulbound, Reap and Sow. Defend the settlement of Grim Reach from a terrifying undead horde in this introductory adventure for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound from Cubicle 7, and it was released for Free RPG Day, which took place on Saturday, October the 16th. Now, hopefully you had a friendly local gaming store who was participating and you were able to get there and find some of the interesting titles that were on offer. And there were a lot this year, and I've been able to do videos, and I'm going to be doing reviews of them in due course. And I'm almost out of these titles to look at. There are one or two which didn't quite make it to the UK. I'm hoping to get copies of those very soon. But if you did, and I think it's basically, if you did manage to get to your friendly local gaming store, fantastic. If you don't have a friendly local gaming store, do try your nearest, or essentially your nearest friendly gaming store, as many will do mail order, and they're really great because I use a couple, but I've got my own which I deal with normally, and I go to others when that one can't get in the things that I want. Not very often. The one where I got this from is Fanboy 3, and I want to thank David Salisbury at Fanboy 3, him and his staff, for their time and effort in getting all of these titles to me. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do these videos, and I wouldn't be able to do the reviews of each of these booklets, which I will do in due course. Basically I've been doing the reviews of these for 14 years now. That's essentially as long as I've been 14 years or so, however long Free RPG Day has been going. I've been doing it for as long as I can, where I've been writing my blog. So essentially, I think 10 years, something like that. Anyway, so essentially, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound Adventure Crash and Burn is also available, and that can be downloaded as well. We've got a QR code on the back. And you've got the 2 points of reference to basically the starting points for you if you have an interest in the sort of like a mythic fantasy setting of Soulbound. You have the starter set, which I've already done an unboxing of, and the Soulbound rulebook as well. So, Warhammer Age of Sigmar is a mythic fantasy setting where gods and monsters wage endless war in 8 near-infinite realms. There are known 3 ages: Age of Myth, the time of great empires and impossible magic; Age of Chaos, when the realms were plunged into centuries of blood and darkness, and demons roamed the land; and the current Age of Sigmar began when the God King Sigmar returned from his Stormcast generals and brought back hope into the world. So, automatically, this is not a grim and perilous world. There is plenty of adventure, and I'm sure there will be elements of grim and perilous, but it's not inherently grim and perilous. Okay, everything is basically, despite Sigmar's return, the mortal realms are on a knife edge. Daemons and undead still roam the lands, and nowhere but the great cities of Sigmar are safe. Grimreach, a small settlement in the Shire, the realm of death, is in need of heroes as a tide of unfeeling undead threatens to scour it from the map. Will you come to the people's aid? Well, of course you will. So what you've got here is an adventure which lets players take on the mythic roles in the Age of Sigmar. Okay, and then essentially you've got a bit of background for the GM, and we get on to the adventure itself, with really nice bits of artwork as well. And that's no surprise. Warhammer and its various role-playing games and board games and basically miniature games have always been known for their great art. And here we've got an actual map of Grim Reach. Okay, really nice map. Basically shows it in this description its key features, and then essentially the confrontation between the player characters and the undead when they come to make their demands. And it's really in 4 parts essentially, where I can see essentially you go to the village, it's being threatened by undead, the undead come forth, their champion comes forth and makes demands, and of course the player characters will listen to them and reject them, pretty much like the final battle in Return of the King for Lord of the Rings, where the forces of the mortal forces face off against Mordor, and basically Sauron sends out his champions, and they say no, and basically Gandalf and everyone says no. And then we have the Siege of Greenwich, which is handled in several waves, wave 3s, and they have to battle them overnight. And it's a kind of a classic setup, you know, village under siege, monsters coming in waves and waves, and then you've got the dawn itself, and the recovery, and you look around and see the destruction which has been wrought overnight, and sort of like, you know, look around and go, that was tough, see who survived, and so on. You have the 4 characters here. So we have a war priest of the devoted of Sigmar. There we go. We have a knight quest of the Stormcast Eternals. For third character is an Endron rigger of the Caradon Overlords. Essentially with the mighty Endrons which hold the people's skyships aloft. So that's the third character shown there. And then lastly, we have Derek, who's a Kurnoth hunter, groaned to serve as a defender of the Sylvanath. And he's not a certain character from Guardians of the Galaxy at all. Not at all. Anyway, so what you can do with this is you do need the rules to play. Okay, this is not a quick start. It's support for a game which is already out, and what you can do is go and download. You've got an extra adventure as well you can play on top. But if you've got obviously either of the Soulbound core rules or the starter set, then you can play through the scenario without any difficulty. I would say the starter set is a great package because you get everything you need to play: counters, character sheets, background, and a lengthy adventure. And you can easily sort of like just play through that and then go and do this one as well. Okay, so you've essentially, this is an expansion as much for the game as the starter set. And I should imagine I think this will probably take a couple of sessions. You could do it in one session, but I think really to play it out properly, it's a 2-session adventure because there's a lot of combat involved. You've got the characters that probably want to explore the village in a little bit more detail, interact with the NPCs, find out what's going on. And essentially, because you do have you'd have an explanation of how tests work, and essentially they've been pre-calculated in there, so you probably could kind of get away with it to the most extent. There is some basic explanation, but having access to the core rules I think would really help. So basically a couple of sessions I think to play through that. Plenty of combat, plenty of action, plenty of chances for the characters to shine as you would expect. This will be available eventually to download from Cubicle 7, all the usual places. I think that's going to come out next month, because there's some of them available because they're long-term quick start. Others have been on new content, and this one is new. Right. Anyway, so I hope you have enjoyed this overview stroke unboxing here in the Nook. If you have, please do click the like button. If you've got any comments or feedback, then please do post those, as I do take the time to read them and respond as necessary. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings here in the Nook, where you will see me with a package which I will unbox, and there'll be a game or book in there, or I will basically just something which I can showcase, which I will talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. All accompanied, of course, by a nice hot cup of tea. And not forgetting the cat, who is not ours, who makes an appearance occasionally. Then please do click that the subscribe button. I will be reviewing this in due course. You can find an unboxing of the Soulbound starter set linked as well. I will post to that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I will be back again soon with another unboxing or an RPG Now overview in the near future. Bye for now.